Hello everyone, welcome to your channel Data Science Studio, and today we are going to start with day 16 of Python programming for data science. So let's get started. So in today's session we will be continuing to Pandas DataFrame Part 2, and we'll be seeing some of the more important functions, properties and methods that we use in our pre-processing methods for the data science or data analytics activities. So we'll just load the dataset first. Here is our dataset which we'll be using, and the first method, which is items. So this methods actually iterates over your data frame columns, and it returns a tuple, and that tuple contains your column name and the content of the column in the form of a series. So here what I'm trying to do is I'm creating a subset of the data, and I am trying to take the first 5 rows and first 4 columns of the data set, and I am iterating it through the items method. So if you do this, you can see that all the 3 columns survived. Name and gender are actually shown as a tuple which has the column name as well as the content in the form of series. So if you want to iterate over the columns, you can use the items method as well. Sometimes what happens is that we might want to drop some of the columns from the dataset or data frame. In that, you can use the pop method. So pop method is used to drop columns in a data frame. So this is our data set, and if we want to drop this name column, what we can do is we can just pass the label of that column, and the column will be dropped. So it will show which column is dropped and its values. Now if you see the new column name, we don't have name present in the data frame. So you can use pop method to drop the column based on the column names. Another important method which we normally use is get method. So there are multiple ways in which you can subset your data, and one of the way is by way of get method. So if we have to, let's say we have this data set, and I'm showing 2 ways in which you can subset your data set. One is you can use double square brackets. For example, if I want to filter out or create a subset of only age and fair, I can use this method. Similarly, I can use the get method and pass the list of column names which I want in the data set. So now you can use the get method as well. We'll see one more method which is called as filter in our subsequent lectures. Now next method is also important. We have seen where in NumPy, we have seen where in series also, and we can use where in data frame also. For example, I want to filter out all those rows in the age columns. So where method actually replaces where the condition evaluates to false. So now you can see that there are some age values which are very low. So what I am trying to do is I am trying to, wherever the age is greater than equal to 20, wherever the condition evaluates to true, it will keep the value as it is. Wherever the condition evaluates to false, it will replace that value by 10. So now what I'm trying to do is wherever the value is not greater than equal to 20, it will be replaced by 10 using the where method. So here you can see this second value and third value, which is 0.9 and 2, is replaced with 10, and other values which is greater than 20 remain as it is. So this is also an important method if you want to apply a condition to fill some values based on the condition specified. You can use the where method. Next important method is query method. Now if you want to filter your data set based on certain conditions on the columns. So for example, I want to filter out all those rows in the Titanic data where age is greater than 30 and fare is also greater than 250. So I am trying to filter out rows based on the conditions on the multiple columns. So here you can see that I have filtered out all those rows and I am seeing the top 5 rows and it returns a data frame. So the query method allows to query a data frame on the basis of query expression passed and it returns a data frame. And if you see, the age is greater than 30 and fare is greater than 250 in all of the cases. So query method is also very important if you want to slice and dice your data based on the multiple conditions which you can apply on the column as well as rows. Next method is combine method. So this method actually combines two data frames and that combination is done at column level and based on the function passed as the parameter. And the row and column indexes of the resulting data frame will be the union of the two, which means the common between the two. So let's say I have a data frame df1, it has got two columns x and y. Similarly, I have a data frame df2, it has got two columns x and y and there are multiple values. Now I am trying to combine these two columns and it will consider the minimum of the two columns. So wherever the value is minimum, it will take only that value into its respective column. So let's see that. So here, if we compare the column of x between the two, the minimum is 631. If we compare the minimum of y, second column between the data frame 1 and 2, the minimum is 3, 5 and 1. So it compares the values of both the data frames and takes the minimum value or takes the value based on the function passed as the parameter in the combine. Similarly, you can use np.maximum. It will give the maximum value of the columns in the data frame. Here what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to pass a lambda function. So wherever these a1 dot sum, so a1 is the df1 data frame we are passing, a2 is the df2 data frame. So wherever the sum of the data frame 1 is greater than sum of the data frame 2, you keep it as a1, which is the value from the data frame 1, or else replace it with data frame 2. Like this also you can create your user defined functions using lambda and you can pass this as a parameter. Another method which is combine first. So combine first is an important method if you want to replace the null values in data frame with the non-null values in the another data frame. So this method combines two data frame objects by filling null values in one data frame with non-null values from other data frame. So you can, so let's say that there are some null values. So in the first column we have np.nan, in the second column it is 23. So a null value in the data frame 1 is replaced by 23. Similarly, in the second case you don't have null value, so it is not taken into consideration. Next important method is apply and apply map. Both does the similar functionality, but the apply method is applied on the along the axis of an data frame. It could be your at the column level, or it could be at your row level or the index level, and default is 0. So which means by default it is applied at the index level. So let's say that I have my data set and I want to convert this name into uppercase. So this will happen at row levels. For all the rows by default, it will make the name as uppercase. So in the upper, I am actually in the apply method, I am passing the lambda method. So for each index which is passed as the value of x, it will convert that particular column value into upper. Another is we are creating user defined function where each value will be incremented by 10. So I am applying the increment method onto the age. So all the values of age will be incremented by 10, like this. So apply method becomes very important if you want to do some pre-processing based on the function or the property which you want to pass as the parameter in the apply. Now apply happens at the column level. So the whole column will be considered for the, so if we are applying at index level also, but I am applying at name level, so whole column will be extracted and then the value will be applied, or the function will be applied. But the apply map actually does at a element level. So it does the same process, but it replaces the value at cell level. So here also what I'm trying to do is I am trying to create the square of each variable in the data frame, and that is happening at element level, like this. Now another important method, so apply and apply map is very important when you want to apply functions on a specific column, or if you want to do it element wise, you can do apply map. Now another important method which is aggregate. So in aggregate method, if you want to see some aggregate values based on the function passed and the axis specified. So here also you can specify the axis. By default it is 0, which is the index level or the row level, but we can calculate at the column level as well. So for example, let's say this is our data set and I want to count. So if you want to see the aggregation of multiple columns, you can pass it as a dictionary. So for example, I want to check the count of name column and the sum of fare column. What is the total fare that is being charged and what is the count of the name column. So I can use the aggregate method and pass the parameters as the dictionary. So total name count is 1309, which is equal to total number of observations as well, and total fare is 43,550. So this way you can see what is the aggregate values of your data set by way of passing some functions that can be giving you aggregate values like count, minimum, maximum, sum, average. All those kinds of parameters you can pass as a function. And if let's say that I have a data frame like this, and now I am trying to if I am trying to do at index level, it will give me this result. So I am trying to calculate the mean, sum and count. So mean, sum and count is calculated for all the rows, which is at index level. Now if I have to do at same at column level, then the look will be like this. So for each index, mean, sum and count will be calculated. So in case of x is equal to 1, the mean will be 23 plus 6 by 2. But if x is equal to 0, which is default, then the mean will be 6 plus 3 plus 10 plus 12 plus 34 by the 5, all the numbers. Similar to we have aggregate, and similar to that we have another method which is called as transform. So transform method is used when you want to transform any of your columns, and in data pre-processing we do lot of transformations on our data set. It could be your log transformation, it could be square root transformation, or it could be exponential transformation. So we'll be seeing all those in our exploratory data analysis series. But for now you should be aware that if you want to transform a variable, you can do that using the transform method. So here I am calculating the square root of all the elements in the data frame for the columns x and y. So here you get the for the column x we have got the logarithm of that value, and for the column y it is the square root. So these are some of the very important methods from data processing perspective. Pandas is very important from machine learning perspective, and NumPy is also very important from deep learning perspective. Firstly, we will start with machine learning concepts and theorems, and then we will move on to deep learning and we'll go into NumPy a little bit in more detail as well. So we will have couple of more sessions on this Pandas data frame. So please subscribe, like and comment your channel and provide your valuable feedback on the content, and stay tuned and stay connected. Thank you.